Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, Northern California chapter. It's great to welcome you here today for our Gold and Silver Circle induction luncheon. Let's hear a round of applause for everybody being inducted today. At this time, to kick things off, I'd ask everyone now, after you sat down, please rise as we present the colors and the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you all. You may be seated. And thank you to our lovely singer. That was just beautiful. It is truly an honor to be here today and to welcome you all here. Again, my name is Brooks DeRose. I'm a reporter over at KTVU Fox 2. I'm also the president of the board. And on behalf of all the officers, the governors, and the members of the Silver and Gold Circles, we welcome all of our inductees today for the 2023 Induction Luncheon. We have 8 very deserving, talented honorees, 6 of them into the Silver Circle, meaning 25 years or more of dedication to our industry, and 2 inducted into the Gold Circle today, 50 years in television. Congrats to all of those being inducted today. Beyond this luncheon, our other big event during the year, of course, are the Regional Emmy Awards. And we are very excited as we gear up for yet another Emmy Awards celebration in June next year back in San Francisco. Our awards committee is hard at work, and our call for entries comes out in early December. So any of you that have outstanding work to submit from 2023, pay attention to your email inbox, because you'll be getting flooded with emails in hopes that you will submit some great work this year. Beyond the awards, we're also trying to increase our outreach. We've had a lot of turnover. The pandemic is finally beyond us, So we have been increasing our social activities. We recently had a mixer in Sacramento that was heavily attended, and we plan to continue doing that. We also are trying to invest in students, and many of them are here today. 6 scholarships that we're going to give out to 6 very deserving, talented students. After all, they are our future. They are the future of this industry. We want to ask all of you that have been in the industry for decades to consider donating to our scholarship fund and help fund the next generation of broadcasters and television journalists. Finally, we're also recognizing that this is a tough time right now to be working in this business, especially with a war in Ukraine, another war between Israel and Hamas. And so we decided we are putting together a very impactful panel discussion. It's called War Coverage, Fighting to Tell the Truth. Why are we doing this? There is so much nuance, so much context and perspective that is needed to tell these stories. It also takes a very mental strain on all of us working in this business. So we are bringing together people that are experts in history. They're going to touch on censorship, religion, politics, and that mental strain. That's going to be next Saturday at 10 a.m. It's a virtual panel. We'd encourage you to join us for that. We'll also be recording that and be able to share that with all of our members. But that's next Saturday at 10 a.m. Finally, for those of you who are here today, consider giving back. We have a program called Mentor Match, where we take veterans and pair them with people early in their career that you can help mentor these young folks to help them be ready for anything that may come their way. So please consider signing up for our Mentor Match program. There is a little mention and blurb just like this in your program. Feel free to scan that QR code and sign up. I know many of our members will benefit greatly from all of your expertise. I also want to thank all of our supporters of today's event and all of our sponsors. Thank you very much for making this possible. With that, we want to move forward with our scholarships, and our education committee has been working hard to organize, judge, and select students for these scholarships. Unfortunately, our education chair, Toby Momtaz, couldn't join us today. He has another family event, so I will be presenting those scholarships in his absence. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of the work these talented students have produced.
So as a kid, I did a lot of hiking and backpacking, and I always loved the mountains and the local fauna and flora, and I always loved flowers. So that was kind of the start of me getting into gardening and loving all the different plants. And I really have a passion for California natives and all the drought-tolerant plants. So as Californians in this extreme drought, I think that it's really wise to start really thinking about ways to conserve water.
Somewhere between the spines, the daytime is always watching. He pours himself a drink, he says, well, I don't read the news. I'd rather use that time to think how I fly on by, where you fiddle with your phones, like foolish waves are crashing over unsuspecting stones.
Los que no se mataron se salieron. Que nunca pensé en el riesgo, ni en no conocer la gente, ni en no conocer el idioma, nunca. Si te vas a enfermar, por decir, ¿quién te paga la renta? Por si vamos a poner una cosa que me tuviera que enfermar un mes, ¿no? La ciudad de aquí me corre, pues no te cobra. Por un día que te atrás te cobra $50. Por un día.
In 2017, a new user was taking Reddit, one of the world's most popular social media platforms, by storm. A user who called themselves Deepfakes was posting images that looked real but were digitally altered. 90,000 followers later, deepfakes was banned from Reddit, but the name stuck.
Imagine waking up one morning, checking your phone, and seeing that your friends are talking about a viral video that they didn't know you were in. Now, imagine that you also didn't know that you were in this viral video. That's because you were never actually in it. Someone took your picture from the internet and created a deepfake based on that one photo.
Ready to learn how to use Narcan?
Yes.
The two main thing, number one thing, no matter what, you're calling 911, and then you're going to put them, if you can, we advise that you do recovery breaths on the person if they're not breathing.
I've given Narcan many times, and I know how easy it is to use.
If you don't know how to do...
To me, it's reasonable for the general public to be able to use. And if you've got young adults who are initiating a program to be able to use that, I support that.
Thank you very much. I want to thank our Activities and Programs Chair, Steve Schlitzky, for editing that video for us and all the students' work. Very impressive. At this time, I'm going to call each of the scholarship recipients up here to receive their plaque and their check. For all of you that are receiving a plaque, please come right down here off to the side of the stage here, because we're going to get a group photo at the end after I announce everyone. So first, with the Peter J. Marino Jr. Memorial Undergraduate Production Scholarship in the amount of $3,000, Celeste Jones from California State University, Fresno. Next, the Sheldon Shelley Fay Memorial Undergraduate Videography Scholarship, $3,000, awarded to Tatum Theo Garvey from the California College of the Arts. Next, the Miss Nancy Best Memorial Graduate Production Scholarship in the amount of $3,000, awarded to Florence Middleton from the University of California, Berkeley. Next, we have the Jerry Jensen Memorial Graduate Journalism Scholarship in the amount of $3,000, Alyssa Gorakova of the University of California, Berkeley. The Jerry Jensen Memorial Graduate Journalism Scholarship, number 2, $3,000, awarded to Jean Zamora of University of California, Berkeley. And last but certainly not least, Louise Jajorian Memorial Overall Excellence Scholarship in the amount of $5,000 is awarded to Tariq Stone of the California College of the Arts. Let's give one big round of applause to all of our scholarship recipients.
Congratulations, everyone. It's wonderful to be here for the next couple of hours, or hour and a half, whatever it is, as we recognize our inductees. I am the chair of the Gold and Silver Circle, and I am honored to be here to acknowledge the veterans in this business. The other person who's going to be my co-anchor here is Vern.
That's right. Hey, everybody. Hang on. Now we're ready to go.
Well, okay, we are ready to go.
Yeah. See, Jules, when I'm on with you, I need to be on this. Yeah? Step stool goes wherever I go. Makes me 6'3".
So this is the way we like to roll here. But I want to say, first of all, to all the veterans in this room who have served our country, welcome home, and thank you for serving. And all the veterans in this room of TV and of our industry, thank you for serving and caring for our viewers, carrying the message. I mean, telling good stories and sometimes saving lives. We do amazing work as broadcasters. And I don't say that we so much, but it's we as what? What am I saying? We as a group.
We as professionals, Joyce. Really, we appreciate each and everybody that's here. You just don't walk in this room. I mean, you got to be invited to this room. So that, you know what I mean? Oh, and by the way, he's the man. We're not 10 years older than dirt just to get into this room either. So.
To be inducted into the Silver Circle, it requires 25 plus years of service to our industry. And I mean service, it's not just time. It means that you have done something extraordinary. You have done something a little bit more, or a lot more, to help people in our industry, in our community, to our academy. For the Gold Circle, can you imagine 50 years? 50 years. I see Jim Stimson down here shaking his head. No, I can't imagine, but he did it.
Stimmer.
297 people are in Silver Circle now. 297, we have 29 Gold Circle. We started the circles in 1986. I must always say and give credit to Terry Lowry, who has shown me the way. And yes, I hear her name mentioned around this room a lot because many years ago when I got the call, it was from Terry Lowry, and she's still here and she's a guiding light. Yes, yes, we shake our heads. This is thank you to Terry Lowry. Though we are not old, I take it, no, we refuse to get old, right? We stay young.
25, how about you?
32, but so what?
32. All right. You're right.
We're going to take a moment to honor some of the people that we have lost. Unfortunately, people do pass away in our circles and in our industry, and we pay respects to them, and that's what we're going to do at this moment. In memoriam, we have Don Gold. Don was Silver Circle, class 1995. He was a stage manager at KGO. He was a field representative at DGA, that's Directors Guild of America. I want to say, gone but never forgotten. Then, just recently, we lost another one. We lost Herb Settle, Professor Herb Settle. He died at 94, and I don't care what you say, it's never old enough. He was in Silver Circle, a member of Gold Circle, and a recipient of the Governor's Award, the highest award the Academy can bestow upon someone. His memory lives on through many of his publications. He has taught and mentored many students, and that's what I see around this room, is so many people willing to reach out and mentor people and to help others, help people in the business come up and take over, because we're not going to be standing here and we're not going to be filling this room. We're turning it over to the next generation of young people, making a difference in our television community. I take this very seriously. I woke up with a smile today because I knew I was coming here. The world is not an easy place to live in these days, but I know I get to see familiar faces. Kathy, lovely seeing you. I look around and I get to smile because I'm with a family here. We are a family. Julia, we worked together how many years ago, and we're all back together. The bond of television is remarkable. We cross states, we cross the country, and yet we stay together. I think we all give ourselves a big round of applause. And now Vern. Vern.
Yes.
Yes. Come on up here.
All right. All right, so what's next? We get it going?
You're going.
Okay, all right. I cannot believe that a 5-foot-nothing schmo like me gets to stand up here in a step stool in front of all of you out there. And hey, when I started doing this thing, I mean, the plan was to just kind of cover sports, have a little fun, telling stories. But leading up to this, Veterans Day, a day like this, in front of all of you, and we all work for different stations, but we are all connected. And I can just tell from. Okay.
Are you going to be okay?
Joyce, I'll be all right. Okay, I will throw the red flag if I need help. All right. Okay. All right. So we got 6 Silver Circle inductees, and as I look to my left, Tommy, have you had your Novocaine yet? You ready to go? Tommy hates it. He hates this, but hey, this is your day, and you got a whole KCRA table full of people around here to support you. I'm talking about Mike Dami Dumalog, and to see him in a coat and tie. This guy's a fantastic shooter. I mean, he always gets the shot. And every time I see Dami, whether it's some sporting event or Summer Olympic Games 2000, remember that? Oh yeah. Yeah. Every time I see him, it's like, you know when you see a deer, and then you see one deer, you know another one's coming? Well, Deidre Fitzpatrick is the other deer. So, Deidre is going to be his presenter today. And again, back to the Summer Olympic Games in 2000. Boy, I tell you, we were running around. Deidre and Dami, they were chasing around Sacramento Olympians. I was chasing around Bay Area Olympians, just having a good time, looking for adventure and trouble in Sydney, Australia. That said,
You found it.
I did, of course I did. Hell yeah, I did. All right, here comes Deidre.
Nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never looked nervous before. It's kind of charming. If you really want to get to know somebody well, travel with them, right? So if you go by that logic, and the amount of travel that I've done with Dami, I pretty much have had a front row seat to this man's soul. It's a good one. We have been partners with the Hearst Olympic team for 10 Olympic Games because 23 years ago, Ed Chapuis, sitting right over there, thought it would be a good idea to send one of his most experienced photographers with his least experienced reporter overseas with a big project and to see what happens. And it wasn't a good idea, it was a life-changing idea for me, and I think for Dami as well. We have been to 10 countries, 5 continents together, and supposedly we are the longest running reporter-photographer team in NBC Olympics. And as Vern was just saying, people kind of see us when we're coming, and people have joked that we would win the Amazing Race if we ever won it. And they're not wrong, we would. But the Amazing Race is really how Dami looks at life in general. And I think our partnership has worked as well as it has because we have the same 2-word motto that we have said to each other now for 2 decades, and that is all in. All in on the work, all in on the fun. And it has always been like that. My favorite Olympic minute, I actually know what that is. It was 1 minute on August 5th of 2012. It was the day that Usain Bolt was running the 100 meters. And we do a lot of things at the Olympics, but actually sitting and watching Olympic events is not one of them. We've been to very, very few events. And that day we were feeling a little sorry for ourselves that we were going to miss this incredible thing. So I said, okay, put your camera down. I've got this idea, which is usually how most first really start. I have an idea. So we went to the stadium and we figured out exactly which section was the end, the finish of the 100 meters. We walked in, and like we do with many stories, we pretended like we needed to be there, and we started walking down toward where the finish line was, in probably the most expensive seats that you could have gotten on that day at the Olympics. Kept on walking, we timed it down to 1 minute, because I knew that if we could get in and out in 1 minute, not only could we see Usain Bolt, we could have an amazing adventure and probably not get caught. So 1 minute before we're supposed to start, we start walking down, and we get down to the very front, 10 seconds to go. We hear them getting to the start, the gun goes off 9.63 seconds later. Do you remember this? Usain Bolt comes running by us. He basically high-fived the guy. We took the most amazing selfie of our lives that never went on social media. And we had this incredible all-in moment. And that's really what it's all about. 9.63 seconds of amazing memory, 1 minute, or really a lifetime of adventures. And you don't last 43 years at any job because it's about the work, because you did the most work. You don't last 43 years because you're the most talented in the job. You last 43 years in a job because you're all in. You're all in on the fun, you're all in on the work, and most of all, you're all in on the people. The people you work with, the people on the journey, the people who are your family sitting there at that table. You're all in at all times. And that is him. In 2 words, all in. So please join me in welcoming the big brother that I never particularly asked for, that apparently I so desperately needed, and I love the bottom of my soul, Mike Tomlin.
So I guess being a shooter was something I was meant to be. I come from a family of 12, 6 boys, 6 girls. All the girls are older than me, so I had like 6 moms telling me what to do. And of the 6 boys, I was the shortest. It was said you couldn't swing a dead cat in Salinas without hitting a dama log. Hardworking parents, this is where we got our work ethic. The one thing that my family is, you're responsible. You have to be responsible for everything. But to be responsible for everything and everything around you, that's the way I live. Started in high school, shot films when I was 15. Did the yearbook, did the papers, went to college.
So this kid walks into the KSBW newsroom, looks about 15 years old, says, I'm a news photographer.
He might have even been in high school still then, or about to be a Hartnell College student.
Proud Filipino name, and I guess I'm the one who shortened Damalog to Dami.
And then reporting the most accurate, the most carefully written television journalism.
Now, no one told us the secrets to great clam chowder, but we did find out what some chowders have in common.
Started at KSBW as an intern, left there as chief photographer. Got a call from a buddy of mine he said, come on up to KCRA.
He looks at this obviously as a profession, as a job, but it's a game. It's a fun game, and he's going to beat everyone doing it.
And the thing about news is it happens. It just happens, and you capture it as it happens. You get no second shots.
You guys get the fuck out of the way.
That our photographer, Mike Damalog, picked off.
His constant drive every day to do the right thing, to tell the story the way that it should.
He has the ability to see what's ahead, to know in advance what he needs to do to be prepared.
I have not killed anyone.
I told you that. I have not killed anyone.
I've literally had everything from notes on my pillow, a hurricane in Hawaii, don't know when I'll be back, to, there was a hostage situation and I can't talk right now and they're telling me to, turn my lights out.
The pilot is one with the helicopter, but the cameraman has to be one with the pilot and the helicopter, because he's not just shooting out the window, he's using a gyro-stabilized camera, and he has to compensate for the helicopter moving, and Dami was just a master at that. There's a lot of moving parts, and a lot of things can go wrong.
Had an engine failure?
Dami was flying when there was a complete engine failure, and the pilot, Dave Allen, was able to bring them both down safely, Dami and the helicopter, make a successful landing.
We're going really
slow.
Really.
11 trips. We've traveled around the world together, and we have 2 words we always say, and that's all in.
Woo!
If he meets you, he interviews you, he works with you, he's all in your story, and you then become part of his story. And that's how he's done his entire career, all in.
You walk in, you shoot your story, you can't change anything because you can't tell a lie. So you just knock it out, and you have like 20 minutes to do it, and you just do it.
From high school football on Fridays, college on Saturdays, and the NFL on Sundays, he's still running circles around the young guys with his energy and enthusiasm.
Winds blow in this way and give discus throwers just a little bit of lift.
In his mirror, he had posted on the mirror, taped up, an Emmy application, but written across it in bold Sharpie, make every day an Emmy day.
43 years in television, 5 in Salinas, 38 here. Never thought it was going to last that long.
And?
I got a few more years.
You're a short guy.
Millennial, I'm not a millennial, but I'm using my phone because I couldn't get the damn thing to print, so. Anyways, thanks, Vince. We killed it. Thank you for this honor, and I'm having a tough time processing this because I never thought this was happening to me.
Bless you.
My best friend Mario Martino convinced me to quit Merva's department store.
I told you to
It
go
was a
south.
secure job, and I was supposed to be a buyer eventually. But I think the ladies in lingerie that made me hang up little panties on those little plastic things, they tortured me to kind of force my way out of the my big Filipino family right here. This is just maybe a third of them. And my sister Gloria, who beat up the kid that was picking on me in front of Skyview Theater, when she beat him up and I managed to get home. And my mom saying, "What happened to your nose?" And I'm like, "Well, Gloria beat up the kid." So I'm safe. And by the way, you're looking at the first intern in KSPW TV. I actually started the program there in the 80s. And thankfully I got to work with John Porter and Larry Mercer, Bev and Bill. Bill Murphy and Bev Hudson. Joe Fonzie was my first sports mentor. Larry Schick. Larry Mercer handed me his camera for the first time on Pacheco Pass, and I got to meet the governor, Jerry Brown, for the first time when they introduced wind power on Pacheco Pass. So thankfully Larry's not with us anymore, but he made me chief photographer 5 years later after being an intern. I grew up watching most of everybody in the Bay Area because in Salinas we were the first they had cable TV. We had 2 channels and suddenly we got 7. And watching Channel 2 was a big deal. I was hoping that we kept satellite today, or Pat McCormick, because when you were sick, you got to watch those guys, and we really, those guys, Channel 2, I'm a big Channel 8 guy, but Channel 2 on cable was a big deal for us, this holiness.
Okay. I'll get this in. My mom wasn't too keen on TV. And so when we watched too much TV, she cut the cord. She literally cut the cord. She'd take the cable and hide it from the TV, or would actually cut it. And me and my little brothers were so smart that we would figure out a way to either make a cord or take the blender and put that cord in the TV so I could actually watch channel 2. And I survived electrocution. Finally, it's like I learned my craft through osmosis. All the guys in Sacramento, from Emery Clay to Gilbert Rios, Ken Zitkin, Ken Day, all these guys, Mark Pepper, all these guys, I learned from these guys, and that's why I am here one am. You learn from the best, and that's why I'm here. The best guys in the world are Sacramento photographers. There's a billion of them. I mean, John Pavlovich and Robert Beelan, Will Hereford, the guys that aren't with us anymore. I miss those guys. They left us way too young, and that's why I'm here. The guys before me carved the way for me. Thanks.
Thank you.
You got through it. All right. All right, next up is Vicky Liviakis. I'm looking at the front. These are my people over here at Cross 4, because that's where it all started for me forever ago, back in 1990. But let me tell you about Vicky. All right, it's 2001. We've just gone through a bitter divorce with NBC. We were rearranging chairs on the Titanic. I mean, it was bad. And he remembers, and so do you, Pam. So, anyways, 2001, and then, bam! Here comes Vicky Liviakis. By then, she had a wealth of experience, so she had done it all. Just made her bones in radio, in front of the camera, traveling around. So, I mean, she's even been a news director. So she's been one of them and one of us. So anyway, so Vicky comes in with energy, a lot of mojo, and then we took off on the weekends. And not to get all Robert Downey Jr. about it, but I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of leading ladies, like you, Pam. Pam is her presenter, also her predecessor on the anchor desk. So Pam is her presenter. She's going to come up here. Pam came in about a year after I did, came in oozing with class, and 32 years later, nothing but class for Pam Moore. Come on up, Pam.
Introduction. I'm the one introducing Vic. Listen, I am happy to be here to introduce Vicky Liviakis today. Vicky is a joy as a co-worker, and she is a joy as a friend, and I mean that. She's fun, and she's inclusive, and she is energetic. There's no pretense about Vicky. There's no drama. There's no judgment. Vicky is just a good-hearted person. Over the many years that we've worked together, I have so come to appreciate her spirit, and I've told her this many times. Even in challenging times, she handles life with grace. Vicky doesn't meet strangers. She usually knows everybody in the room, and if she doesn't, she'll know them before the day is over. As a journalist, she's resourceful, she's curious, she's knowledgeable, and she's tenacious. Her bright personality really lights up a room, but it's so bright, in fact, that sometimes if you're not paying attention, you don't realize how very smart she is and how very hard she works. We have all seen her do this. Vicky will take her camera in the morning, go to a political event, shoot that event, come back to the station, write the story, edit the story, anchor the newscast with the story. On her dinner break, she'll run out and shoot another story for her Dine and Dish segment. Then she'll come back and anchor an evening newscast. She is an energizer bunny. We tease her all the time. Through the night, you are very likely to get a text from Vicky about an article or something that she's reading online of an event going on around the world or something funny or interesting, because she's always staying plugged in. Vicky will even shoot a story on vacation. I'm sorry, that's a little too far for me. She does all of this while she's having so much fun and making it look easy. She works hard. She plays hard too. I admire her love of her work and her love of life. She is an asset to our newsroom, and she is an asset to the journalism community in the Bay Area. So deeply deserving of this award today. She does have one shortcoming, and Vicki, I just have to tell it, about her addiction. Yes. Vicki is addicted to her cell phone. I am not exaggerating. We have had many a day where we get an emergency call. The newsroom is on the 3rd floor. The news set is on the first floor. We get a call from the news set. Emergency, hurry, somebody get Vicki's phone. She's left it on her desk. Please bring it down. She's breaking out in a cold sweat. Hurry, hurry, she got the jitters. She is addicted to the cell phone. We love her, Vicki. We love and appreciate you. She is a delight, and we are proud to honor her. Today, I'd like to bring up her co-anchors for her video, Kenway and Grant Lois.
We'll try to make this as long as possible.
So we both have had the pleasure of working with two of the queens of broadcasting in the Bay Area, Pam Moore and Vicki Liviakis. And Pam, there was supposed to be a script you're going to give us before the video presentation. We don't have it. Did you get it?
No, there's no script. The prompter's tricking out too. But the bottom line is, we all love Vicki. Vern, you are short.
That's right.
And Vicki's traveled the world. Hawaii 74 times, 78. Egypt last year, but with this induction, Randy, I think she deserves to go to Disneyland. Here's to Vicki Liviakis, one of a kind.
No station does more news than we do, whether it's breaking news, the big story, or happening in your neighborhood.
And your house burned in that 91.
That it did. And a very big difference is they're doing mitigation now, defensible space. The homes up there have tile roofs. Also, a really important key matter, and then we're going to talk to Lawrence about this. The Diablo winds were just fierce that day. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Cron 4 News at 6.
That's extremely dangerous.
Okay, nobody light a barbecue.
Yeah.
Vicki? Yeah, our cities are overwhelmed.
The doom loop.
So you wonder, is it really worse than it ever has been? We meet a woman by the name of Pony. You got no family?
Cron 4's Vicki Liviakis talked to a journalist currently under arrest in Iran.
Joe Biden spent his first day on the job today in Springfield, Illinois, where Barack Obama's run for president first began. This is huge news. To break it all down, Cron 4's J.R. Stone tells us what happened that actually led to the death of bin Laden. Speaker of the House watches The Daily Show.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
That's where we get our news.
I've been on it, and I enjoy it, and it helps to be able to laugh at politics.
You covered a lot of this stuff. You excited about having the All-Star game here?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not excited enough to, pay $500. I guess you could say Eli Manning, the Manning of the hour.
Yeah,
right, anyway.
very good.
Okay, we'll take
Very
back
good.
with you, Vernon. I've always admired the way you dress, but
Well,
this is a new addition.
Look. It's a new look, but it's permanent.
I was told that trying to get an interview with you is like trying to get an audience with the Pope.
And I like that.
This is The Jump In, a 30-second free-for-all we were allowed to tape as it was actually happening.
Well, my reputation is going doing hits.
Have you ever shot anybody?
Yeah.
Reporter Vicki Liviakis has interviewed Doreen Leoy as part of a documentary on the Night Stalker.
Reporter Vicki Liviakis is in our #1 city.
Thanks, Dr. Travis. America's healthiest city is San Jose, California. We're going to test your food IQ with a brand new San Francisco restaurant called AQ. We're going in. Aisha pointed to her arm and a secret that she shares with her MVP husband. That wild ride is coming to an end as Adam and Jamie hang up their lab coats and eccentric hats. But not before what's rumored to be the most spectacular final season in television history.
You ready?
I'm not just a meteorologist, my man. Thank you, Vicki. And you, thanks for taking the chance with that makeup today. Meow.
Sweet, funny man, genius. I'll never forget.
Vicki, they're back for you.
And I managed to coax Sammy Hagar to belt it out just once.
55!
They're calling you like the Mother Teresa of the rock world.
God, yeah. Someone called me the human hot cross bun the other day. I don't know what that is.
That's the recipe.
Strangers in the night, things turned out so right for strangers in the night. Hey!
I gotta say, you know, look, if you can get that right, you should be a very clean person when you exit the shower. I'm just gonna put it that way.
Welcome to my world! Oh, that would be delightful. Thank you.
Guys, it went 3 minutes, 20 seconds, so I told Daryl I would subtract from my speech. It's super short and sweet. You've noticed a lot of different haircuts and colors over the years. It's one you won't see is silver or gray. I don't even know. I've never seen it myself. To lift a line from the Navy recruit brochures, this isn't just a job, it's an adventure. And we all know it. You have good days, you have bad days, you have days when you think you're gonna get fired. We are lucky to do it from a place here in California, a place that we love, it's the Bay Area. I'm from Sacramento, I love it too. We get to do it with talented people who make us so much better than we are. And ultimately, the most important is that we get to do it for a community that we care a lot about. I am super thankful for all the opportunities I've given and grateful to be on this wild ride. And yes, you know, it's nice to take a moment to look through the rearview mirror and, you know, see where we've been. But it's actually more exciting to imagine where we're going next. On that note, I'm going to see what Tim, my hairdresser, comes up with. Stay tuned, everybody.
All right, 2 down. We got a few more to go. Next up is Rick Kwan. Let me tell you about Rick. By the time I got to San Francisco in 1990, Rick was already established as a big-time sports reporter for KPIX. And let me tell you something. While the rest of us would be clowning around in the press box and the clubhouse, Rick was the grown-up in the room. He was the serious sports journalist. He had command even in the editing room. Shave a few frames to the left, and I think we got it. So anyway, so Rick has made the smooth transition from sports to news. I mean, not everybody gets a chance to do that, but Rick has done it, and it's just been just taken off in Hawaii. So anyway, his presenter is Ben Fong Torres. He's a Hall of Famer in his own right. I mean, there is not a single person in that rock and roll Hall of Fame that Ben has not interviewed or chronicled. He is Mr. Rolling Stone magazine himself. In fact, Ben's got a great documentary on Netflix that's on right now. I watched it last night, and I was just leaning forward for 2 hours. So for Ben to come in to be his presenter, boy, Rick, you got some pull, man. All right, so Ben, come on up.
Don't kick that height stand away like that. I'm all at 5'6". Thank you, Vern. And good afternoon. I'm here to induct Rick Kwan into the Silver Circle. I myself am a member of Paper Circle, just a couple of notches below. I think Balsam Wood Circle is next for me. Rick deserves the silver. He is one of the most inspiring stories in Bay Area broadcasting, and I'm proud of his achievements. He began like me, a Chinese-American kid with broadcast dreams and precious few role models, and with scant encouragement from his parents. He grew up in Houston, loving top 40 radio and hoping to be a jock. At the University of Texas, he had a change of heart. He found himself more drawn to television than to radio. But he was on the shy side and stayed behind the scenes. Asians, he said, are generally humble and not in the spotlight. But the heart knows what it wants. He worked his way from behind the scenes to on camera and began sending out audition tapes when he graduated in 1978. If I had known about him then, I would have pitched him to local stations. I was on KSAN, the Guy 95, weekends then. Rolling Stone just didn't keep me busy enough. I remember cheering when I heard about a new Chinese-American DJ on KCBS FM. I was heartened by the pioneer Asian anchors on television, all women. The 2 or 3 men I saw were reporters. Rick Kwan wound up at a station in Arkansas and then an ABC affiliate in Honolulu. It was around this time that Rick, thinking about larger markets, saw a feature story I did in the Chronicle Sunday Datebook in 1986, headlined, "Why There Are No Asian American Anchors." Rick applied for a job on KPIX in 1987 and beat out 50 other applicants to be a sports reporter and weekend fill-in anchor. He was third banana to Wayne Walker and Joe Fonzie. Oops. While he waited for his chance to move up, he supported fellow Asian Americans. Just a year into his work at Channel 5, he produced a series on Asian American athletes. Rick said, "There are so few Asian athletes that when I see one do well, it draws my attention." I guess a little bit of it is personal in terms of motivation for producing a 4-part series. It's good to see an Asian saying, "I can do something different and succeed." Rick could have been talking about himself. At KPIX, he moved up in the pecking order, as he called it, and would win 2 Emmys along the way. And then, this being television, he was terminated with 4 other on-air talents in 2008. Rick bounced back on KGO, and he created his own video production company, and then in 2020, he found himself going home. Not Houston, it was Hawaii calling. It was KITV, the ABC station. It turns out that if you've done good work, you can go home again. And KITV wasn't looking for a sports guy. They wanted him to anchor their evening news, and so he does. Rick Kwan, prime time, and I can retire that headline about why there are no Asian male anchors. And that's thanks in part to the newest member of the Silver Circle. Here is a look at Rick Kwan's career.
Rick Kwan is the first Chinese-American television sports anchor in the country. He got his start in 1979 in Jonesboro, Arkansas, working as a news reporter and weekend sports anchor for the ABC affiliate KAIT-TV. The next year, while attending a friend's graduation in Hawaii, he landed the weekend sports anchor job at KI-TV in Honolulu. In 1983, he was named the state's Sportscaster of the Year. During his 7 years in the islands, Rick got to interview former President Gerald Ford, meet celebrities like Lionel Richie, and appear in the original Magnum PI with Tom Selleck.
Yes, his office is just down the hall, but he's not there at this hour.
He could be. He's taking off tomorrow, so he might be catching up on his work.
Oh, he's taking off on vacation.
Well, it's sort of a long weekend on his foot, I think.
Well, I'll just check to see if he's in.
After KPIX sports director Wayne Walker saw him while vacationing in Hawaii, Rick joined the CBS affiliate in 1987, where he would work for the next 21 years, becoming the first full-time Asian American male anchor in the Bay Area.
That's right, Hank. The Giants opened a 9-game homestand tonight by taking on the Montreal Expos. On Sunday, San Francisco wrapped up a dismal road trip by crushing Milwaukee 16-10.
Good evening and welcome to Game Day. I'm Rick Kwan. We start tonight with...
His work would win him 2 local Emmys. 4 times he was voted Best TV Anchor by readers of the Oakland Tribune. One of his favorite stories was with Dot Jones, who would find fame as an actor in shows like Glee.
I've searched all my life for my champion. Now I finally found him.
So Dot Jones had met her match, and life will never be the same.
My car is parked around the corner, Dot.
Yes, sir.
The name is Kwan, Rick Kwan.
During his more than 2 decades at KPIX, he got to know athletes like the NFL Hall of Famers Joe Montana, Steve Young, and Jerry Rice. He also had the great pleasure of working with another Hall of Famer named Dan Fouts.
Right now it's time to go out to the Westin St. Francis where Rick Kwan is standing by with honors for Dan Fouts, right, Rick?
That's right, Anna. A big night for the Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame. 4 inductees tonight, including our own Dan Fouts. We hope to have a one-on-one interview with Dan. Oh,
Hey, Rick, your table's ready.
oh, thanks a lot. I'll be right there. We'll be back with Dan Fouts right after this.
In 2008, Rick left KPIX, but in 2010 began working as a sportscaster for ABC affiliate KGO. He would stay there until 2017, when he began making award-winning documentaries. His subjects have included Ed Lee, the first Chinese-American mayor of San Francisco, and Dorothy Toy, an Asian-American dancer who broke barriers by appearing on Broadway and in films in the 1930s. In 2020, Rick was made an offer he just couldn't refuse, a chance to move back to Hawaii to be a news anchor at his former station, KITV. You could almost say Rick's career has come full circle. As the news anchor at KITV4, he's a person viewers have come to trust and respect, qualities that have earned by decades of experience.
Yeah.
You like that Tom Selleck episode? That's kind of fun. Well, thank you so much for this honor. Just want to keep it short. My video also ran 3:30, so I have to cut my speech short. Congratulations to all the inductees, especially Juliette Goodrich, who I anchored with for many years. That was narrated by Dan Fouts, as you may have been able to tell. Quick Dan Fouts story. In 2000, I was at the Pro Football Hall of Fame covering Joe Montana's and Ronnie Lott's induction to the Hall of Fame. And Dan at that time was working for Monday Night Football. And so I said, Dan, can we do an interview with you? He said, sure. And I turned around and Dan had already picked up my tripod and said, where do you want to do this interview, Rick? And that told me what kind of guy Dan Fouts was. You know, he's this big Monday Night Football analyst, but he was putting the cameraman's tripod on his shoulder saying, where do you want to do this interview? Anyway, great guy to work with. I'm going to keep my speech short, mostly a lot of thank yous. So first of all, thank my mom and sister Wanda and her husband Gene. My sister's birthday is today, so she's celebrating her birthday. And I want to thank all my friends and viewers over the years for watching. A big shout out to the Grant Avenue Follies. I don't know if you're familiar with this entertainment group, but they came out in force today. I'm big with the 70-plus crowd, as you can tell. I also want to give a big shout out to a lot of the Asian American males broadcasters who went before me, like people like David Louie, who's here today, Vic Lee, Sam Chulin, Ken Kashiwahara, and Chris Chow. These guys are all pioneers. And I just want to thank everyone for their support, even those who doubted me, because they made me work even harder. So as been mentioned, I'm still working full-time in Honolulu as an anchor and as a reporter, but you know, I can start to see the end in sight. But I feel like I can look back, feel like no matter what story I was assigned to, I always did my best and was able to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, you might notice that there might be some bottles of champagne around the tables. Well, so it doesn't get too warm, we might as well raise a glass to all of the inductees that we have here in this room. Let's raise a glass. Take a sip, take a couple of gulps.
The bubbly has arrived and is here to consume. Let's take a toast to everyone here. Take a sip.
Yep, pour it. You know, Joyce, I don't usually hit the bar until I'm done with the gig, but I'm Come on, Horn. Go on back, Peter. Raise them. All right. Here's to you.
All right.
And now, on with the show. Marqueske's finally doing it. Come on, fight time. Anyway, all right, so Paula Marqueske. All right. Now I know. Yeah. So she and I serve on the NATS board. And every second Saturday of the month, I get to see her do little Zoom things. She wears like different little ball caps that I think are really kind of fun. But you know, now I know. All those slickly produced, long form, Emmy Award winning stories that I see, the promos, even she might even go up to Larry Beal and go, you know that Circle 7 pin, if you just kind of make it symmetrical, it'll look better. But anyway, creative service director, but she's a lot more than that. And it all started as an intern for ABC 7, and now, look at her, at the door of the Silver Circle. So anyway, she's being inducted and being introduced by ABC 7 reporter Leanne Melendez. Now, I'm told that Leanne, you are the queen of rolling the R's on the Spanish pronunciation. You just have to go every track you do. I'm told. Yes, thank you. And then most recently, you've been doing a series on driverless cars. I don't know if you got here with a driverless car. I'm not sure. But anyway, she was a track star for the Alabama Crimson Tide. She's in a great mood because they are in the process of crushing Kentucky in a one-loss year. I had to get that backhanded in again. Anyway, so let's bring in Leanne to set the table for Paula Marqueske.
I'm a little offended because it didn't say roll tide. Roll tide. Come on, Vern.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway, did you notice that Pam Moore wasn't wearing one of these? Retirement is good, has been good for you, I can say. I have to wear one. Hello, everyone. So I've had the great pleasure of working with Paula for almost 30 years. Now, one of the first encounters with Paula was on a bus to Tahoe during a company ski trip. You know where I'm going with this, right? Where she generously handed out vodka Jello shots.
Nice.
Well, she became an instant friend. So through the ups and downs, I've watched her become the leader she is today, and it's an honor for me to introduce her. Paula Marqueske, in case you're wondering, it's Marqueske, is ABC 7's creative director, but she is so much more than that. So Paula is an innovator, always ready to try new things, and inspires the rest of us to do the same, to be on our best game, right? New technology, her motto has always been, we got this, no problem. Leanne, you want to try something new that's never been done? No problem. And then she smiles, right? So you know that Paula was the first non-linear editor at the ABC-owned television station group. She even made the cover of Broadcast Engineering magazine. Now, Paula is the creative force behind KGO's most ambitious efforts. So, you know, live productions and events, from parades, which we always love, from parades to town halls, graphics, redesigns, studio and set designs, because her motto is, no problem. So she even designed the lobby at KGO TV. But what the audience doesn't see are the smallest of details that Paula has the sharpest eye for. So making television magic is definitely one of Paula's superpowers. She is a Disney and ABC 7 brand ambassador through and through, always challenging us to be bold and big, pushing us beyond our comfort zones to be better. So when you meet her, within the first few minutes of the conversation, she will proudly tell you that her family is from the town of Lucca in Italy. Her work ethic, which she always attributes to her father, is unmatched. Some of Paula's families and really good friends are here today. Agnes, nessun problema. Am I right? No problem. We hope you see how important Paula is to all of us. Now, my former colleague, Wayne Friedman, who wishes he could be here in person, but actually, we're glad that he's in North Carolina. We love Wayne. Wayne wanted to remind us of one of Paula's greatest attributes, and this is so true, her kindness. Paula Marcheski, thank you for your contribution to Natus, to ABC7, and to the future of television. Thank you. Paula.
How does the spotlight find someone who has spent her entire television career deliberately avoiding it? Well, it takes a little magic.
Oh boy.
So I asked Paula, why do you do what you do? And her answer started out probably pretty similar to many of us in this room.
I believe journalism is fundamental to our democracy.
But Paula's purpose has a twist.
And I fundamentally believe we can look good doing it.
Paula, you just can't stay out of the spotlight today because everyone is so excited to celebrate you.
For more than 30 years, you've worked behind the scenes to make those of us on camera look our best. We thank you. And from all of us at Good Morning America, congratulations.
If you know Paula, you know she's done practically every job in this newsroom, starting out as intern, then making her way to being a news writer, media manager. There's even word that she was the account payable manager at one point, then on to promotions producer, then promotions manager, and now, of course, she's our creative director. And always she did it with inclusion and kindness. Unless you spilled something on the set, and then you are in big trouble.
More than 30 years ago, while I was working behind the scenes at Channel 7, I made one of my best decisions as an associate producer. I hired Paula Marcheski as an intern.
Paula is the kind of person who has spent her career making other people look good. She has what we call the producer gene.
Paula Marcheski, 32 years at KGO, from intern to executive team. We couldn't be more proud or grateful. Thank you for all you do.
No one deserves this award as much as you. You're responsible for some of the biggest and best projects at KGO Television.
Paula, congratulations. It is high time we recognize you for your relentless determination to get it done right year after year after year. She's going to want another 17 takes, right? Even though that one was perfect, I assume.
You are the absolute finest human to have ever worked in television. I truly believe that. And you are the heart and soul of KGO. And one more thing, take a vacation.
Congratulations, Paula. You know, the thing about Paula is when she comes around the corner in this studio with the sneakers on and the baseball cap, we know she means business.
Yeah, Paula plays so many functions at the station, but I think the best part about Paula is she is always out to make us look and be our best.
Yeah.
And that includes being there to lend an ear or ears.
Congratulations, Paula.
Congratulations again, Paula.
Congratulations on your silver circle.
We just want to congratulate you, Paula, from all of us here at ABC News.
Thanks for 32 years of bringing it with authority.
It is well-deserved. It is long overdue.
Congratulations, Paula.
From all of us lucky enough to work with you, Paula, congratulations. Welcome to the Silver Circle.
Don't think of something.
Oh my goodness, I really can't follow that, but I'm going to try, so I have notes. If anyone knows me, I'm not usually at a loss for words, but that was a little overwhelming, so thank you to everybody who put it together. I am so humbled to literally be in the same circle as all of you now officially, all you amazing people. Please know that I appreciate every one of you here. You are why I do what I do. And I'll get to that more in a moment, but first I wanted to talk about how I got here. Growing up, I watched my father read the newspaper from front to back every single day. My mother turned on Good Morning America first thing in the morning, And then she listened to KCBS and KGO radio the rest of the day. To this day, they're 88 years old and they still never miss a newscast. And as the youngest of 3 children, I was always the one who had to go upstairs, get the Funk and Wagnall encyclopedia, and help settle a debate that was happening at dinner. So pretty much every night. This is, of course, before Google. So both of my parents, as Leanne mentioned, they came to the United States from Italy. They are super proud of their Italian heritage, and they also have a very strong sense of civic responsibility as American citizens. So basically, they never miss a meal, and they never miss an election. So as a child, I remember going to the polls at this big colonial house with a gigantic American flag flying over it. And to me, it seemed like this big beacon of democracy. And that brings me back to all of you. Our democracy can't exist without the journalists in this room, and that's more important now than ever. So again, that's why I got in this business, and you are truly the reason why I do what I do. 2 weeks out of college, Carolyn Johnson, you saw, hired me for an internship on a show called Marketplace. And on my very first day, one of the producers handed me a stack of beta tapes and a yellow pad and a pencil. And if any of you have transcribed tapes without using a computer, you know that it's a miracle that I showed up for day 2. But I did, and I made lifelong friends on that show, and they taught me not only how to produce a TV show, but also that TV was a family, and that with family you show up. So I learned a lot of TV and life lessons at KGO. The very first parade I worked on for the station was Carnival. I have 2 memories from it. One, Kathy Cavey was out there like a rock star, holding her 35-pound camera with one arm, and her shot looked so smooth it seemed like she was running a Steadicam. And then second, Peter Sirocco reprimanded me for how I lined the trash cans with the garbage bags. So Peter was right, as he often was right, and I miss him every day. I think of him every time I walk into our studio that we built together. I think of him when I remember the crazy shoots that I made him endure. And with every crazy idea I had, the people at KGO were always willing to make it happen, and they knew how to make it happen. And so I watched and I learned. Photographer Mike Elwell, he was pretty much a miracle worker. Once he totally saved one of my holiday promo shoots. It was like a dimly lit, dingy room. He made it look like a holiday oasis. And Peter Sirocco leaned over to me and he said, you know, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And so he was right again, Peter was. I am so lucky. I'm lucky to work with the best team and learn from the best team in television. I can't possibly name all the names, because I'm probably already getting wrapped, but you know who you are, and I hope you know what you mean to me. Just look around the room. I mean, it's Don Sanchez, it's, you know, David Louie, I've got Leanne who introduced me, thank you, and Michael Finney, and all the marketing and the programming team here supporting me, and I just can't thank you enough. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude for all of you showing up for me and showing up for the station every single day. I see Leanne Shields, one of my best friends, who, of course, I met at the station. So special thanks to Tom Zabrowski, our GM, for fostering a culture of collaboration. You can see news department, promo department, programming department here supporting me. Thank you. Thank you to Tracy Witkowski and all the newsroom pros, like, again, Leanne, Michael Finney, everybody here supporting me. And then to Candace, the most creative person I know, who has 93 people showing up at her house in a few hours, and she's still here. They gave me this amazing silver circle from Tiffany today, so thank you for fostering a great sense of team and for showing up every single day as well. I have to mention Wayne, who for more than 40 years has been a friend, a collaborator, and the best damn writer I know. Thank you for bringing me into the fold at Natus, because now I can properly properly reward you all for the amazing work that you do every day. And of course, Daryl and Joyce and Steve and Vern and everyone who put on this special celebration today, thank you from all of us. And finally, it takes a certain kind of person to get into this business, but it also takes a very special kind of person to live with all of us. So I have to thank my husband and my entire family for putting up with me and with the job. And I know I'm out of time, but I want everybody here who's here with a significant other to turn to them and say thank you right now. And sorry for all the late dinners, the ruined holidays, the canceled vacations. The job is worth it. I just feel so privileged to have witnessed some of the best and some of the worst, sadly, news stories alongside all of you amazing journalists. You use your voices to give a voice to the people. That's so important to me, and I am so honored to help elevate your stories and connect them with the audience. So please, all of you, especially the new journalists in the room, please keep showing up and don't forget the trash bag liners. Thank you.
Wow, Markeski, you're one of us now, right through the stop sign. Love that. Absolutely love that. No, but really, I mean, she's getting the rap sign. I'm like, dude, she's on the board of governors. Rap sign, really? Anyway. Hey, Fresno! Let me hear you! All right. ABC 30. We're here to honor Richard Kermeling, photog extraordinaire. On his tombstone, it's going to say, he always got the shot. I'm sure not a day goes by, people don't stop you and go, you know that tight shot of that bee on that flower, and you tilt it up and you rack focus to that windmill in the background to get, you probably get, but he probably, gee, all the golly shucks about it. Anyway, his presenter is Liz Harrison. Now, Liz has seen it firsthand, how newsrooms want him, photogs want to be like him. But Liz, a longtime anchor reporter for ABC 30, and get this never happens in today's TV world. Her first job out of college was at ABC 30, and she never left. That was 1982. Whoa. Let me applaud that. Liz, come on up. Like my wife, I'm right behind you. Look.
I think I'll steal your stool. Even though I have
much better.
Even though I have platforms on today. First time I've worn high heels in like a really long time. The rest of you retired ladies may relate. Today, obviously, we're doing the induction ceremony to the Silver Circle and the Gold Circle, but did you know it's also RLF Day? Richard's Love Fest.
No.
Right? Yes. Richard has some special people here today too. His mom and dad from Southern California, Grace and Dick, and his beloved sister Kay. They're all here today, and it's a very, very special day for all of them. Who knew that cute little blonde-haired kid would grow up to travel the world and tell incredible stories behind the lens of a camera? Originally from Massachusetts, his family moved to Southern California when he was 10 years old. He lived in Orange County until he traveled north to get his bachelor's degree in broadcasting at Fresno State. He got a part-time job at KMPH television in Fresno, and then moved to Bakersfield and worked at 2 different stations as a photographer, but searched far and wide for the perfect job as a photojournalist beyond Bakersfield. But his heart was always in the Central Valley, and he landed at KFSN in Fresno in 1995. Now, some interesting facts about Richard. I mentioned that his sister's here today, Kay. She dropped him on his head when he was little. That explains a lot, doesn't it? She was walking down, actually it's a really sweet story. She was like his second mom, and it was a mistake, it wasn't on purpose. He worked in a liquor store in high school and was such a trusted employee, his boss gave him the keys to the store and the wine cabinet. Not really, but he did give the keys to the store.
Having not pursued a career in journalism, you may very well have had the chance to eat at his Michelin star restaurant. In fact, as a little boy, Richard had it all figured out. He would be the chef, his sister would be a server, his mom would work the cashier, and his dad would run the business. All figured out. Maybe a second career, Richard? If you spend any time with Richard, though, you will soon find out how much he loves 80s music. The Go-Go's, the Bangles,
Devo.
Yeah. Devo,
Yeah.
Bananarama, Berlin. Some of you, those went right over your head. But his main obsession in the 80s, and even now in 2023, is the B-52s. Everyone you talk to, though, will say the same things about Richard. He's kind, he's caring, and he always is willing to go above and beyond what he's asked. Most importantly, though, he dearly loves his family and friends. Just a few examples. He volunteers his time with this chapter of the National Academy of Television Arts and has done so for more than a decade, traveling back and forth from Fresno to San Francisco. He's also volunteered his time over and over again to help cook and serve for the annual fundraiser my husband Keith and I put on for the United Cerebral Palsy just about every year in Central California. Prior to coming here today, Richard drove from Fresno to Orange County to pick up his family, drove back to Fresno, drove up to the Bay Area so they could all be here for his Silver Circle Award. This award is long overdue, Richard. Congratulations and enjoy this look back at your career.
Richard Harmelink grew up with a camera in his face, but instead of being the story, he sought to cover the story, even if it meant entering a war zone.
Air raid sirens sounded a total of 22 times while he was there, sending Harmelink and his reporter Jim Weeder scrambling for their gas masks.
Whether it was 3 weeks in the Middle East or a trip aboard an aircraft carrier, Richard went all in.
Remember, that was pretty funny is, you know, Richard's pretty tall and pretty short. Those doorways were so small, and Richard, everywhere he went, he had to duck, and there were warnings everywhere. Duck your head, duck your head.
He won an Emmy with Liz Harrison for taking us inside a simulated Iraqi village used for training.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's have a look at Richard's career.
His images captured so many moments and ABC 30 memories over the years. Richard covered Fresno State's College World Series title in 2008.
And after all those nights together and all those days covering Fresno State, there was one thing that got mixed up in my luggage after all these years. I've been meaning to get back to you. Here you go. Richard Harmelink, congratulations. I know this award, this honor is great for you, but I think you want these even more.
Richard clearly is always up for anything. So many celebrity friends because he's always mingling with the in crowd.
He'll come home and we'll go to Hollywood, and he knows where the stars are and the restaurants.
But the guy who demanded we call him governor because of his NATA status is especially proud to join Action News family members in the Silver Circle.
Richard is one of those employees who kind of is a game changer. You know, I started working with Richard, you know, more than 20 years ago, and I was an assignment editor. And even then, you would get reporters and they would say, can I work with Richard? Whatever the story is, they want to work with Richard. And I think, you know, part of that is because he's a fantastic storyteller.
Richard's family will tell you food has always been his passion.
Oh, he was young, very young. I mean, even today, he's a much better cook than I am.
When he's not cooking or presiding over weddings, Richard is stalking his favorite band.
Our B-52 fans, because of Richard, we've been to many of her concerts.
Richard Harmelink, photographer extraordinaire. Monty Hall, take it away.
Your next sir, Richard Harmelink. There are 5 items in that box. I'll give you $100 a piece, $500, or you can have the 5 items.
I'll take the box.
Here you are, sir. You got yourself $500. sized donuts.
Oh boy. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Rich.
Thank you, Liz, and thank you all. When I first received the email that I was going to be inducted today, I was vacationing with my parents and my sister in Palm Desert. I woke everyone up to tell them the exciting news. Today they joined me, like Liz said, at my table. My sister Kay and my mom and dad. And by the way, our parents will be celebrating their 68th wedding anniversary. And today being Veterans Day, I'd like to acknowledge my father, who served in Korea, and also acknowledge all those who have still served. So I posted the news on Facebook that I was being inducted into the Silver Circle. Comment after comment said, congratulations, and you deserve this. While I thank each and every one of those people who left comments, I just have a hard time with the word deserve. Yes, I'm truly honored to be part of the Silver Circle family. But I look out at all of you today and think to myself, you are the deserving ones. My ABC family is deserving because they've given me the tools and opportunities to help tell stories that make a difference, educate and inform the viewers of California's Central Valley. Thank you, Michael Carr, our president and GM of Action News. Thank you so much for this. My friends are deserving of this because they've given me the strength that helped me be the best person I can be. And most of all, my family deserves this. They are the ones that support me, encourage me, and love me each and every day. Now, early in my career, I was working in Bakersfield, and I'll never forget the time that I had to stop by Costco and get a few things. And you know all the TVs that they sell right when you walk in? Well, they were all tuned to the station that I worked for. And I stood there, and one of my stories came on all 20 TVs. It must have been a fire or some kind of spot news, but all the shoppers stood there and watched the story that I had shot that day. It was so interesting to me to watch them as they took time out of their day to stop and take notice of something that I did. I also recall a time I got to interview Shirley MacLaine. I set up a special room for her, so all she'd have to do is walk in, sit down, and we'd start the interview. Well, she walks in, and before she sits down, she looks me straight in the eye and says, "This is no good." I didn't know what to do. Here in front of me is Hollywood royalty, and I made her mad. Let's see, and I made her mad. So, so I didn't know what to do. So she goes on to explain about the lighting to me. I put up the lighting in the interview room, and she said it was all wrong. She tells me where each and every light needed to be placed, but she further goes on to tell me why it needed to be placed where they were. So she knew exactly how to be lit, and I had no problem doing what she told me. So from that day on, I can honestly tell people that I went to the Shirley MacLaine School of Television Lighting. In 1995, I accepted a job at the #1 television station in Fresno, KFSM. For the past 28 years, this station and its employees have become my Fresno family. The opportunities they've given me, such as traveling to other countries, other states, and throughout California, have made me the photojournalist that I am today. Now, I've used the word family a lot in this speech, but one family I hold dear to me is my Natus family. These are the committee members, board members, governors, vice presidents, president, and Darrell Compton, of the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, San Francisco, Northern California chapter, that have welcomed me and the Fresno TV market. And I thank you for that. I also want to acknowledge a dear former coworker and friend of mine, and Silver Circle inductee from Fresno, Nancy Osborne. She got me involved with NATAS many years ago, and I thank her for that. Now I want to offer some advice to the scholarship winners here with us today. I see they're in that table back there. Enjoy this career that you will begin. Have your Costco moment like I did. Take knowledge in the people that you meet, even if it's a Hollywood icon. And most of all, make a difference in this profession and have fun doing it. I want to show you something, if I can find it here. What did I do with it? Here it is. This right here is the pay stub of the first check I got for working in a television station. It's $93.42. 1 week's part-time pay back in 1989. It reminds me how far I've come and how lucky that I am. This has surely been a wild ride for me, and it's not over yet. Thank you, NATAS. Thank you, ABC 30. Thank you, Liz Harrison. And thank you, Kevin Wayne. And I also want to thank my sister Kay, and my mom and dad, and the rest of my family. They are the ones that support me and love me each and every day. You have shown me that I truly deserve this. Thank you so much.
All right, and now, Juliet Goodrich. You guys have waited all day for this, so I better go ahead and deliver this one. All right, so I've got 2 television sisters as inductees today. Vicki Liviakis is one of them. Jules is the other. Smart, funny, quick-witted, 100% genuine. And I'm looking at Cam over here, her son. That's my mom? Yeah, it's your mom, yeah. She doesn't need a sidekick. She can handle the 6 and our 7 o'clock show all by herself, and she does it well. Hey, it says here, the presenter is me, so I'll just keep on going. All right, here's one of the things I really admire and appreciate about Jules. I mean, her glass half full attitude. I don't know if you guessed, but I tend to warm up to the personalities, and to me, chemistry, on-air chemistry, and I'm citing you, Cron 4 Table, is everything to me. If you got it, then the viewer's going to feel it, and it's really going to sell. And I just enjoyed it with my sisters in Cron, and with Jules. You are just amazing. So anyway, she's one of the people that can kind of laugh and joke with you during the commercial break, and then even have some kind of a funny deal or something like that, and then boom, break out into serious anchor mode when a story really had to be handled perfectly. I don't know, she could just, bam, just snap, just like that. That's a gift, Jules. I mean, not everybody has that, all right? So another thing that I like about her is that she was on vacation on her own time with the Hitchin family in North Carolina. She found out my parents were vacationing about a half hour away, jumped in her car from her vacation, went over to my folks, sat and hung out with them for the rest of the day. That meant everything to me. I mean, and they were really, they ask you about you all the time. My son is in love with you. He asks about you all the time. I just met my son this week. Jules and I worked together every show this week. So anyway, so that was really something. Anyway, years ago, she was working part-time, okay? She does everything for her 3 kids. She was happy with just doing the weekends and just biting it 3 days a week, fine. Channel 5 had to twist her arm and talk her into taking a full-time job. Can you imagine? That doesn't happen every day. Anyway, she finally did. We have benefited from it. kids are older now, so, you know, if Cam, you know, forgets his cleats at home, then he's got to go get them himself. But anyway, Jules, you are just something. Where we're doing live shots together in Las Vegas, football sideline, hopefully Super Bowl. You and I, we got something, and it works. And I'm awfully humbled and proud to be your presenter. All right, so this is going to be a nice little video, a dynamite video on her career. The narrator sucks, but the rest of it is gold. Rolling.
CBS News Bay Area.
Still ahead on KPI
With Juliette Goodrich and the CBS Evening.
Let's rewind a bit to where it all began. Her hometown of Pleasanton. The 580-680 News.
The fate of San Ramon Valley's school buses lies in the hands of 9,000 parents.
Then boom! Jules was off to Reading.
At the Reading Airport, but then often...
Market 133.
Okay, I've got this one in the bag, and I'm gonna sit still. Okay, take 10, take 11. Okay, one more, because I think that was it. I'm so stoked. I got it. Okay. Okay. Take 13.
Next step on the ladder, Sacramento.
The case is expected to wrap up sometime next week. This is truly a highlight to be able to do.
God bless you, Juliette.
Finally,
Thanks.
Jules hit the big time at the Big Five, KPIX.
This morning, Juliette. That's right, Sherry. Today is the
Year,
first day of school
1997.
for kids going to Pleasant Hill Elementary School.
The same year she got hitched to Hitch.
Honeymoons are fun, but soon it was back to business.
Did you hear any shots fired from your vantage point? You weren't too far away from where all that was going down.
Ken, we heard and we saw the shots fired.
Jules spent her years covering breaking news.
Tonight we're broadcasting again from the Santana Road Development Project. Firefighters again.
To field anchoring.
Firefighters still on the scene mopping up from yesterday's 8-alarm fire.
To this keepsake.
And good evening, I'm Juliette Goodrich. Dana
Anchoring
is
with the
off.
great
big story
Dave
tonight,
McElhead.
explosion.
Finally tonight,
And
we
then-
have to wish Juliette very well
Oh,
tonight. She is
baby.
going off on maternity leave.
I'm scared. You make it sound like it's triplets in the background. I think it's just one in there, I hope.
Taylor was born yesterday just before noon.
Her kids, Taylor, Kendall, and Cameron, all grew up with a TV news mom. A balancing act, no doubt. Her older daughter, Taylor, liked to play TV and interview mom.
What do you do on the news, Mommy?
I talk about what's happening in the world.
Really?
Yes. I always want
Have anything else to say?
I love you, and I'm a very happy mommy. Nearly half the dog food market in the U.S. Pet supplies have
Back
also
at
gone
Pick.
up by 72 and 1.
Doggone it.
Okay, let's.
So many adventures. Like reporting on top of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh my God! Turn that off now. I gotta go. Thank you. Thank you.
The gendarmerie walked through here.
She was even sent to France to get the exclusive arrest of Bay Area murderer James Nivette. Très bien, Juliette.
The firefight tonight behind me on this ridge.
No doubt, her field and studio work is what earned her all those Emmys. She even wrote 4 children's books donating proceeds to schools. But Jules earned real cred with her kids when she interviewed Nick Jonas.
Hi, Senator. I'm Juliette Goodrich.
And
How
none
are
other
you?
than Bernie Sanders. Her daughter's tweet says it all. OMG, hashtag feel the burn. Jules also did one story with her own mom, Paulette. A blood test reveals
We're the same age.
it's true. Their cellular age is actually identical.
Yesterday, a lot of the resorts were closed. Today, it's a skier's paradise. So I want to show
What
you
Juliette says she's treasured the most over the years, lifelong friendships made along the way, and her steady photographers and coworkers, like me. Hey, Jules, remember the time you said you liked my jacket on the air?
Would you like to borrow it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'll be right back. We want to thank you so much for watching us. Join us at 11 on KPIX 5.
And remember, on your last day, you can do anything you want.
It's not my last day.
Oh,
It might be yours.
It's been quite a ride, and it's not over yet.
It's a party.
Congratulations.
I think my video went long too.
Wow, I am so touched. I am so honored. All of the above. I look at my table and it is a circle of friends, family, coworkers who are my friends. My mom, when I was in high school, she's like, I got an auction item for People Are Talking, Ann and Ross, and you're gonna take a day out of school and we're gonna go watch them. And I was like, okay, and we get to have lunch with them. And I was like, well, great. So we went in the studio audience at Channel 5, my first time there, and saw the studio audience, watched the whole show, and then went up to Ann and Ross and we're like, okay, so we're gonna go to lunch now. They had no idea. No one told them. Shocker, right? And they, to this day, I remember how gracious they were. They took us to lunch. I think Ross paid the bill. And I will always remember that they didn't even let us see them sweat. They had things to do. They weren't gonna go to lunch with us, at a nice place. And I remember walking back into Channel 5 when I was 1997, Ann Fraser was still there. And I'm like, hi, remember me? Oh, we always hate to hear that when you're, at that age. And when I'm younger then, and she was like, oh, bless you. And bless her, Ann Fraser, and Ross McGowan also. I invited him today and he had another event to go to, but he was so honored to be here as well. And he wanted to extend his thoughts to everybody, and especially in remembrance of Ann Fraser. So that was my first step in at Channel 5. Walk in the door, 1997, Ken Bastito right there. Welcomed by this social, fun, smart, fun-loving anchor man, and he just made work so fun. He took it seriously, but darn, I learned how to have fun during those commercial breaks. He gave me the best advice. Why are you pre-reading your scripts? Just kidding. Do it cold. Anyway, his friend Bob Horn, when Ken was in the studio, I got to then have the pleasure of working with Bob Horn, MacGyver. We've gone to hurricanes together. We've covered so many things. I'll never forget when the assignment desk had us swing by the Hells Angels charter in Oakland. Luckily, you look like a Hells Angel, but you're as sweet as a teddy bear. So we got our interviews. Alex Montano in the back. We are here because you got us down from that blizzard storm in 2019. I don't think my mom or my husband or my kids know that. Thank you, and thanks for all of the fun. Thanks for not showing that photo of me taking a nap with my mouth open in the newsman. I was waiting for that. That leads me to my two friends that are here that I worked with in Sacramento. Ann Chapuis, who I knew as Ann Harris before she met up with the other guy, Ed Chapuis. And so she was my photographer back in the day. And we had a girls' weekend planned this weekend. And for you to be at my house on a special day like this, thank you. Along with Stephanie, who's my other Greek sister from another mister, like Vicky, and she and I were reporters at KOBR, and so this long-standing friendship. They were at our wedding, Ken was, that leads me to that guy right there. Hitch, thank you for being that ground zero. There's breaking news stories, there's overtime, there's scheduling, and you were always there holding down the fort for our three kids. The two girls are up in Oregon right now. One's going to law school, the other's studying, and they're allegedly studying, but there's a football game, I think, too, so there's some of that going on. But I'm so honored that they're together. They didn't need to come here. I said, don't worry about it. Cam the man, they say he's my favorite son, and he is. The girls always say that. Thank you for being here, and you know what it's like. I know it's, having a TV mom can be kind of embarrassing sometimes, but thank you. And I think that leads to my mom. Thank you for birthing me. You are a gem, you are a force, and I thank you for everything. And I thank everyone here. And did I forget anyone? Please let me know. I'm just so darn lucky. Thank you. Take one.
And that takes care of the silver. And now we transition into gold. We got two gold inductees today. First one up, Ron Acker. Okay, Ron Acker, he's got to be the Tom Brady of editors. I mean, he's been over 50 years. I mean, who does this for over 50 years? And they say he's retired, but he still works about once a week at KTVU. He couldn't be here today because he's vacationing in Europe. Poor guy. So anyway, his spirit is here, but he's having a good time over in Europe right now. Anyway, his presenter is another veteran guy from KTVU, Tom Baker, and Baker he's on this special day, Veterans Day. He is an Army veteran, went to law school, got a degree. He's doing great. And between him and Acker, they both know where the bodies are buried at KTVU, so there's nothing the Channel 2 can do with them. Oh, and here's another fun fact on Baker. Usually when we get an orange, we usually like peel it and eat it. Tom eats the orange and eats the peel. Think about that for a second. All right. Let's bring on him up right now.
Eating the peel of oranges and apple cores was courtesy of a guy, boot camp, who said if you don't eat this, you ain't eating anything. So I spelled it. Before we start, I just want to mention one quick thing. Several times has been mentioned mentoring. I have for many, many years had dozens and dozens of people that I've mentored, because I think you're never too busy to pay it forward. And you might know a couple of them. Carolyn Johnson, she was an intern of mine. And a gal on CNN by the name of Brianna Keeler, she was an intern of mine. And there are many, many others still in the business. Now, Ron Acker and his wife are on a long-planned European vacation. Currently, he is in Barcelona, and I'll be toasting to him tonight for his trip in Barcelona from a bar Stula in Hayward. He is by any measure an artist, a total professional, a man of deep faith, knowing that that brevity is the soul of wit. Here's his tape.
Ronald Lewis Acker is the son of Anna Rose and Adolph Acker, who were born in Mississippi but moved to San Francisco in 1941. Ron was born in San Francisco. He's a graduate of Balboa High School and the City College of San Francisco. He began his television career almost 54 years ago at KHBK, Channel 44. In the promotions department, it was Ron who actually wrote the immortal copy, Dr. Kildare Takes a Stab at Heart Surgery. 52 years ago, Ron switched to another independent, KTVU, where he worked in the film department preparing commercials, syndicated TV shows, and movies for air, and ultimately a news editor and supervisor. At this early time in his career, he became committed to and has remained a Jehovah's Witness, a cornerstone of his life for more than a half century. In all those decades, he has gone from editing black and white footage to color film, to analog videotape, to digital videotape, to computer digital editing. As an editor, he ultimately won 5 Emmys, many of those for special reports, which have been a specialty of his for decades. It can be said without hesitation or exaggeration that his is a talent every producer, photographer, and reporter hopes to have on their side for their stories, series, and specials. He was the voice of Giants in the Community, the Giants promotion that was produced in the late 90s, and he did other voiceovers. Even though he formally retired 6 years ago, he's remained a part-time editor for KTVU to this very day. His siblings are Archie, Marianne, Lawrence, and Cynthia. His children, Sabrina, Jennifer, Brianna, and Jonathan. They have given him 4 grandchildren, and they in kind have given him 4 great-grandchildren. Ron and Tammy live in Alameda. Ron Acker, now in your golden years, NADM welcomes you to the Gold Circle.
It's a true honor to have been selected as a Gold Circle member. It's an honor that I would have never asked for myself, but Tom Baker pushed it through. Thank you, Tommy. Over the years, I've worked with many talented professionals, and it hasn't been easy all the time, but most of the time it's been a pleasure. Few times, almost punched somebody out. Imagine that. It was 3 different people. I remember them today, 2 reporters and 1 producer, but I never did. Never happened. I'm a nonviolent person. First editing assignment I had came from Don McQuaig. He's a new, fresh editor. 50 years ago, Don handed me this story, and it was a package, not a VO, done by Vern Hawkins, who's no longer with us today. And over the years, I worked with many talented managers, producers, reporters, writers, desk managers, editors. It's been really exciting. Engineers. It's really been a great challenge and a great time. Many of those have passed away, but many are still here, and it's nice to see them. I've gone from film to digital. I've seen the whole spectrum. Even had black and white film in my hand when I first came in the building. Obviously, that went a long time ago, but that's gone. And what I've learned over the years, it's really a young man's job. We've said that all along, and it really is a young man's job, but I'm glad I'm still able to do it. I'm happy to be here, and as long as I can do it, I will. I'm happily married to my wife, Tammy Jane. I have 4 children, 4 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren who I'm all very proud of. Most important thing, though, to me is my relationship with Jehovah God. I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and if you ever get the chance to hear what we say, or someone comes up to you, please listen. You won't regret it. So thank you very much again. I appreciate this honor. Thank you very much.
Accepting for Ron is a wonderful young man, his son, Jonathan.
Well, like on Emmy night, it always seems to begin and end with Casey. Who's the last guy? All right. It is time for Jim Stimmers, as he's commonly known, but he is way, way, way more than assistant news director. He was a radio guy, turned into TV writer, producer. My wife today, boss today, Joyce Mitchell, was his Jedi Master at KCRA. Yeah. So, Stimmers, as is often said in the newsroom, what are you leaving for us tonight? Was that, did I get that right? Stimmers, what do you got for us? He nods. Anyway, so his presenter is, well, let's just put it this way. Edie Lambert, the great anchor reporter, is his presenter. You know on Game of Thrones, you know that Daenerys Targaryen, the Food Dragon? Well, Edie Lambert is the queen of that newsroom. Let's bring her here now.
Favorite introduction ever. So as you heard, Jim has spent 47 years in our newsroom, starting as an intern. He produced for many years, and for the last many years served as our assistant news director, ran the place. His jobs covered an enormous range of duties over the years, but his days always started the same. You knew that Jim was in the house when you heard the crank, crank, crank of the pencil sharpener. And he just made sure that he started each day armed with the tools he needed to get the job done. And after observing Jim for a lot of years, I came to realize a number of things. And one is that pencils really represent flexibility. As we all know in newsrooms, you spend a lot of time creating something, and then news breaks or something else breaks, equipment, whatever it is, and you've got to erase your plan A, move things around, shift priorities. And Jim got us through billions of those briefly chaotic moments with this calm presence, a nice authority, erasing the plan A and coming up with plans B, C, D, E, F, and G. Jim used his pencils to sketch out so many plans. In any given day, Jim would be working on maybe designing a new set, also figuring out how we were going to run a major political debate, going over everyone's schedules, and focusing in on the assignment meetings. Sometimes he'd have to sharpen the pencil again by about noon, and again at 3 o'clock. So as he was juggling all these layers of planning, he also just has an amazing gift for focusing in on each and every story and really coming up with the less obvious angles and the questions no one else was asking. And in the right hands, like Jim's, pencils can be used to edit complex or poignant stories under crushing deadline pressure. I know for myself, when Jim would review my scripts, he'd hand them back with notes penciled in the margins as to maybe what I had missed in a story or how I could have better cut to the heart of a story. And Jim did this for all of us, and not just in the margins, also keeping us focused on what's right and what's true and our higher mission as journalists. And so, before we see this tribute to his career, this is the perfect time to announce, Jim, that this brass plaque is going to be posted above the pencil sharpener in the center of our newsroom, and it says, with appreciation for keeping us sharp for 47 years, this spot is dedicated to Jim Stimson. And yeah, we're gonna have theme, we're gonna have a ribbon cutting, it's gonna be fancy, but we thought this was the perfect time to announce this to you, Jim, that you will be immortalized in the newsroom that you helped shape. So without further ado, let's take a look at 47 years of Stimmer.
Some may not know the name, but many Northern Californians will recognize the work Jim Stimson has done as a writer, reporter, producer, designer, manager, and mentor for more than 50 years.
Do something again tonight at 8 o'clock. We're going to do something again tomorrow.
Jim began building a reputation while still in college. As a freelance reporter, he was there when Charles Manson follower Lynette Fromm tried to shoot President Gerald Ford outside the state capitol. Jim's interviews and information became the foundation for the AP's initial breaking news bulletins. An internship led to part-time, then full-time work and a series of assignments at KCRA. Eventually, Jim would go on to spend 10 years producing the station's flagship 5 p.m. newscasts. None of them more memorable than the one on October 17th of 1989.
We're having an earthquake.
When at 5:04, the broadcast instantly shifted into hours of continuous Loma Prieta earthquake coverage.
Watching that levee just erode just as we watch it.
In 1997, another natural disaster would lead to even bigger coverage when a powerful winter storm hit on New Year's morning.
The morning the flooding started, Jim was coordinating cut-ins that we do for about 10 minutes or so. Late that morning, he came to me and said, let this one just kind of stretch out a little bit. We stayed on the air for 80 hours.
Jim would become the go-to person for big coverage of big events and big stories. The fire that tore through a Roseville shopping center, the day-long manhunt for the killer of 2 Sacramento area sheriff's deputies, the Paradise wildfire, the Asiana plane crash, the Oroville Dam emergency.
During the big breaking news stories, I knew I could always count on Jim, whether he was in the control room, in our ear, giving us the latest information, or you knew when you saw Jim Stimson walking into the newsroom, he would slide you a little piece of paper, handwritten notes in pencil, and you knew you were getting the latest information.
Jim's career was intertwined with political coverage. His biggest assignment, producing a live town hall broadcast with President Bill Clinton at KCRA.
First of all, let me thank all of you for being here tonight.
Jim also produced the 2010 Jerry Brown-Meg Whitman debate at UC Davis and the 2016 U.S. Senate debate at the University of the Pacific.
Jim always thrived on the energy of the newsroom, the teamwork, the collaboration, and more than anything was the commitment to the community and that service to being able to tell important stories.
When KCRA proposed a remote studio at Sacramento's Arden Fair Mall, Jim jumped at the opportunity. He oversaw the entire project, earning an Emmy Award for set design. Altogether, Jim's work would be recognized with 9 Emmys, a Silver Circle membership, the 2021 Governor's Citation, and regional and national Edward R. Murrow Awards. Awards aside, Jim's biggest joy has been the business of covering the news day in and day out, the opportunity to work with and learn from so many talented and dedicated people, and helping inform the Northern California communities we all strive to serve each day.
Thank you.
the stool. You know, the pencil story, I've got to tell you guys, you kind of get to a point in your life where you just sort of say, screw it. With age comes confidence, and so I've got a pen today. I didn't write the pencil, you just like, this is how it's going to be, you know, this is the plan, and so forth and so on. Thank you, Edie, thank you, Deirdre, thank you, our special projects team that found time to put that video together and still do the November book. You know what those things are. I appreciate all that very, very much. Thank you also, everybody, for being here this afternoon and hanging in there with us. I think these are great events. At the end of the day, there's a little bit 8 of us up here, but really these events are about everybody in the room, and I've heard that from so many people. We are a community, a family. We've dedicated ourselves to this profession, not always an easy place to work, but everybody connected with it strive to become, and I'll borrow the words from Edward R. Murrow, without everything that you do, it really becomes just wires and lights in a box. And so there's so much more to that. So think about this as not a celebration for the 8 of us, but think of it as a celebration for all of you and the commitments you have made. As for me, I am grateful for the wonderful colleagues I've had the opportunity to work with over the years, many of them over here at the KCRA table. Donnie, who's a rock star photographer, but also Vicki, we cross paths, Juliet, we cross paths, and you know, that's the way it is in the television news. So I'm grateful for the collaboration and the opportunity to do all of that. I'm also grateful for the companies that I've had the opportunity to work for, and really only 2. KCRA's only had 2 owners since I've been there, the Kelly family, and then they sold it to the Hearst family. And in both cases, the Hearst Corporation, in both cases, the mantras remained the same. Do the right thing for the right reasons in the right way every single day. And we'll figure out later how we're going to pay for it. I'm also grateful for the companionship that I've had over the year. A number of people have mentioned family. This is a tough business. You all know about the late nights, the early mornings, the weekend working, the missed holidays, and so forth. And I would not be here without the support of someone who's been with me all these years, Sandy. She was here for the beginning, 53 years, 52 years. Yes, we've been together that long. Most of all, oh, sorry. Thank you. See, it's a teamwork. I'm grateful for all of you and for each of you. So, in wrapping up, give yourselves an applause, a round of applause for everybody, for everything that you do, all of you, each of you, every day, whether you're in the TV business or you're supporting people like us who are in the TV business. Congratulations to all of you this afternoon, and thank you all very much. I would have figured it out by now. All right, that's about the end of the road for me. Hey, Jim Stimmers is right. It really is about everybody in this room. And as I wrap up and jump on my horse, Lucky, and ride home, Lucky is Juliet's horse. I just want to say to all the inductees, congratulations and welcome to the club. Thank you.